there, my name's Valerie Campbell and welcome to my channel. Have you ever felt like you were holding your breath but still speaking? Yep, that's me right now. Guys, I've never done a voiceover for one of my speed paintings before, so I don't really know what to say. I do want to ask anybody watching this if you prefer there being a voiceover or not. Maybe by the end of this you can leave a comment and let me know what you think. So in the beginning, I started out using reference photos to sketch a pose. I Googled an image for the pose, and my lovely model was kind enough to let me stalk her Facebook page for some expressions, some facial expressions. I don't mean actual stalking, in case anybody's worried about that. Now, back to the sketching process you saw before. The reference photo I was using for the body didn't feel like it was a confident pose. I wanted the subject of this painting, this digital painting, to be more confident in herself. So I decided to sketch out my own pose and kept it kind of similar to the reference photo, but she's more upright and I guess proud or confident, you could say. After that, I moved on to figuring out lighting. Let me tell you, this was a little bit tricky because I was coming up with my own lighting environment. While I had some reference photos where light was hitting my subject's face, there wasn't an environment she was in that was exactly like the one I was picturing for this piece. So I started with the sketch on a black background and tried to work in light and then move over to shading at the same time, almost like sculpting, if that makes any sense at all. And what you see here is me trying to refine the pose. The initial pose I had sketched out at the top of my head using the reference photo it just looked off. The proportions were off. So I used that good old traditional art knowledge and started sketching out cylinders and rectangular prisms to figure out what proportions I had messed up. And finally, once I had all the portions satisfactory, I guess you could say, not perfect, but satisfactory, I refined the shading a little bit and moved on to adding color, which is where we're at now. Well, sort of. I noticed some things bothering me. There was too much empty space around her, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not that great to begin with, let alone with drawing an environment or creating a background image. So cropping the image down to where it was more intimate with the viewer up close to the subject just felt better, and it kind of helped in hiding some of my oopsies. It made my job easier, I guess you could say. The initial concept of this piece was to have her holding a brush to show the viewers, you guys, that she was the one painting the cracks in, putting herself back together after so many breaks. She was the one repairing herself. But after trying to work it in, I decided to leave it out because it just looked out of place and it almost took away the attention from her. It was like an odd ball. It just, your attention would just go straight to the paintbrush, like, huh, what's that? What's it doing there? Rather than, looking at her and all her beautiful details. I don't think I mentioned this yet, but I'm using the Procreate app on my iPad Air for this piece. Well, for all my pieces, really. The paint brush that I've been using through the whole process is either going to be the airbrush, like the soft one at the very top of the list, or the round airbrush under the painting category. For the background, I sort of cheated. Don't come at me, please. I found an image on Google that fit the environment I was imagining. I just cropped it, blurred it, did a little tweak to it, and that's the background you have. And now listen, I know professional artists who do this, so I do not feel guilty whatsoever. After that, working on the detail of the hair, refining its shape, its color, its texture, I used a separate layer behind the hair to create a glow. I used an orange color with the soft airbrush and set it to, I believe, hard light, the one under overlay. There's a hard light blending mode. After that, it's pretty much back to painting again. I decided that she needed to look like she was more in the shadows because of the light. All of that light was supposed to be behind her. And figuring out the shadow overlay layer was a little tricky because for me anyways, it was tricky because I've not done a piece where the subject is almost 100% backlit. After thinking about it for a second, I think that glow layer might have actually been on top of the hair. I was just really careful about not getting it on the skin. And then, of course, you had to add in highlights. Painted in highlights where the light would be hitting it. Highlights where the light would be hitting the gold streaks. And that's pretty much what we have here. I hope you liked it. If you enjoyed this voiceover, let me know. I know I need some work. Like I said, I'm a noob. If you enjoyed watching this, come find me on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. And thanks for watching.